Today I would like to celebrate David Icke, a controversial character, and I do seem to love controversial characters, whose trajectory through the course of my lifetime has taken him through some absolutely fascinating stages. When I was a young boy, David Icke was on the television as a presenter of sports programs, and he had previously been, I believe, a goalkeeper for a football team. And so for me, he was just part of the wallpaper of 1980s television and was not a figure of any great note. This changed drastically after he had a series, or although I believe it was in the beginning one particular mystical experience that took him out of normal conventional reality, and the vision that he felt he had to be true to, and it placed him so far outside of conventional reality that he became a figure of he was pilloried. He was basically excommunicated. And I remember watching one day one particular program. There was a program that used to be on the television called hosted by a guy called Terry Wogan, he was like the bastion of normality. He was the voice of whimsical reason, a voice of Radio 2, a man who was seen as, I don't know, I now think of him as having been it's really difficult to try and pinpoint the effect of a presenter like Terry Wogan, because what he approved of, the British public would approve of. What he had disdain for, they would disapprove of. It's hard to underestimate the influence of characters like that. And David Icke went on this TV programme, and I believe he had already come under fire from some of the papers because, his story was beginning to appear already. But on that show, I got the impression that Terry Wogan was, consciously or not, trying to humiliate him. He treated him with such scorn and such disregard. And I myself at that time, as someone who was being affected by this kind of tendency that I was trying to explain there, also saw him as an object of ridicule. He's gone completely mad. And now that I look back on it, I see how much they put words in his mouth and completely misunderstood what it was that he was trying to convey. And, part of the reason that I've chosen to celebrate David Icke today is as a testimony to his unbelievable resilience in the face of such derision, because for years after that he became a complete object of ridicule. He was never mentioned in the media anywhere without enormous contempt. And part of why I have really come to have great respect for him is the way I've seen his children grow up. He has a son called Gareth Icke, who I have seen express himself with, he seems to me like such a loving and grounded character. And he must have been of a similar age to me during that time. And I cannot imagine what it must have been like to be the son of David Icke during that period of time. It must have been heartbreaking. Like, I can't imagine what it would be to look at your father, who you think of as a good man, who's clearly kind and loving and attentive to you, who is viewed by the rest of the country as being completely insane. Someone who you are looking up to thinking, well, he seems to make sense to me, and yet at school would have been, I'm sure I'm sure they, unless those children were their anonymity was absolutely assured, they would have suffered extreme mocking of their father and of them, probably. Not only because he played for dubious football teams and was a figure on the television that everyone knew, but then having gone through these profoundly life-changing spiritual realizations, had become an absolute pariah. And when I saw Gareth Icke and how grounded he appeared to be, I thought, well, what sort of upbringing must he have been for his father to accept his role as a pariah in the society and be able to still be a good father to his children and to have created such young, upstanding men. It's a really incredible story, I feel, and that's what I want to celebrate today. David Icke has clearly been proven right on many controversial things that he has spoken about over the years, and yet still I'm very hesitant to align myself with him. I've been at events that he's spoken at, not because I've paid money to go and see him, but I've just been able to encounter him. I've had conversations with him, and people love to put things on him that are completely unfounded. And I've, it's amazing that he has the character and the acceptance and the determination to just brush those off and just keep going. And even though he has been proven right on many of the things that he's saying, I still couldn't go as far as like advocating his work. I've never read any of his books. I don't wholly subscribe to all the things that he says. I don't share his world vision precisely, and yet there is some crossover. But for me, all of that is a complete aside to the humanity of his story. He is someone who has been true to his word, true to his family, true to the world as he sees it, and has never backed down. And that kind of courage I have just amazing respect for. So today I'm celebrating David Icke.